Hello everyone, I'm MSLs, and this is lecture 44 or session 44 within chapter 24 of the Advanced Medical Science Liaison and Medical Monitor Certification course program by CCRPS. The chapter is about conceptual and theoretical monitoring, while the topic for the session is about monitoring of drug approach and drug strategy introduction. We'll start with the definitions. As for drug approach interaction, it refers to the evaluation of methods used to deliver or administer a drug, for example, oral, intravenous, delayed release, and how these influence efficacy and safety. Drug strategy interaction focuses on the broader clinical and therapeutic strategies surrounding drug use, as for example, combination therapies, sequential use treatment, intensification. Key points. The drug approach interaction as the definition again for drug approach interaction examines how methods of drug delivery affect its absorption, distribution, efficacy, and safety. Choosing the optimal approach for administration is crucial to maximizing benefits while minimizing risks. And here's a diagram summarizing the drug delivery method evaluation: gastro-resistant capsules, standard tablets, subcutaneous insulin, injectable antipsychotics. And here we have high bioavailability efficacy, oral delivery, low bioavailability efficacy, and injectable delivery. Key focus areas for drug approach interaction: optimizing bioavailability and efficacy. The delivery method can significantly impact a drug's pharmacokinetics, PK, how the body absorbs and processes the drug, directly influencing its effectiveness. Example, a gastro-resistant capsule designed for a TB drug, a tuberculosis drug, was found to improve bioavailability in acidic environments compared to a standard tablet. Patient-centered approaches: certain populations may require tailored delivery mechanisms to accommodate physical or behavioral limitations, as for example, elderly patients with swallowing difficulties demonstrated better adherence to a diabetes drug delivered as a subcutaneous injection instead of an oral formulation. Safety profiles and adverse effects: monitoring adverse events specific to delivery mechanisms is essential. Differences in side effects between oral and injectable formulations can guide clinical decisions, as for example, injectable antipsychotics reduced gastrointestinal discomfort compared to oral tablets, but increased injection site reactions. The drug strategy interaction. The definition for the drug strategy interaction as it focuses on how drugs are integrated into broader treatment protocols such as combination therapies, sequential treatments, or dose escalation plans. And here's a summarized diagram on balancing treatment aggressiveness and patient well-being, as on the left, improved survival rates and treatment intensification, while on the right, reduced side effects, treatment the intensification. The key focus areas for drug strategy interaction: as we have combination therapies, drugs often perform better when paired with complementary agents, especially in combating complex conditions like cancer or HIV. Example, immunotherapy combined with checkpoint inhibitors led to substantial survival benefits by enhancing immune activation in oncology trials. Sequential and stepwise approaches: drugs can be used as part of a phased protocol, where early interventions guide subsequent treatments to optimize outcomes. Example, a TB trial, a tuberculosis trial, showed that introducing single-line drugs post-sputum clearance reduced relapse risks by 30%. Treatment intensification versus de-intensification: striking the right balance between therapeutic aggression and long-term patient well-being is critical, as for example, while upfront aggressive combination therapy improved survival in advanced stage lymphoma, de-intensified approaches reduce side effects in partial remission cases. Key components of monitoring. We have patient recruitment. Selecting an appropriate patient population is critical for obtaining reliable results. The challenge here is stratify participants based on their suitability for specific approaches, as for example oral versus injectable formulations, or strategies, as for example naive versus pre-treated for combination therapies. Example, a diabetes study recruited insulin-naive patients for once-weekly injections approach and another group for metformin combination therapy strategy. And here's a summarized diagram on navigating clinical trial monitoring. On the left, clinical trial monitoring; on the right, patient recruitment, data collection, and regulatory compliance. The data collection here, systematic data tracking, is essential to capture both pharmacological and strategic interactions. Example, a bronchitis drug trial monitored different formulations, nebulized versus oral, for pharmacokinetics and collected data on combination strategies with corticosteroids for reduced flare-ups. Regulatory compliance trials must adhere to guidelines for both delivery methods and strategic implementations, as for example, an oncology trial ensured compliance with GMP standards for delayed release formulation while also meeting FDA, Food and Drug Agency requirements in USA for its combination with targeted therapies. Steps to effective monitoring. Step 1. Planning. Define clear endpoints tailored to both the approach and the strategy. Example, an HIV study defined separate arms to compare injectable versus oral drug bioavailability approach and analyze the efficacy of a triple combination antiretroviral therapy versus dual therapy as of strategy. So here's a diagram summarizing the effective monitoring process. As we have on the left to right, um, study design, define endpoints, implement protocols, analyze data, report findings, and then comprehensive study report. So step 1, planning. After that, step 2, execution. Effective implementation hinges on proper training and adherence to protocols. As for example, a hepatitis drug trial trained sites staff on infusion protocols approach and adjusted sequencing strategies when local drug availability introduced variability. Step 3, data analysis. Approach and strategy results must be analyzed independently before prior to drawing interconnected conclusions, as for example, rheumatoid arthritis trial analyzed bioavailability differences between oral and subcutaneous formulations approach while assessing the synergistic effects of combination therapy with methotrexate strategy. Step 4, reporting. Clearly delineate approach-based and strategy-based findings to facilitate regulatory and clinical applications. Tools and techniques for monitoring. PK pharmacokinetic and PD pharmacodynamic models evaluate pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic PK and PD profiles for optimal delivery methods. Example, a PK, a pharmacokinetic model, indicated better bioavailability for a delayed release capsule versus an immediate release tablet. And here is a summarized diagram on exploring monitoring techniques in pharmacology. Monitoring techniques on the left, on the right, PK, PD models, adaptive trial frameworks, digital monitoring tools, and we have therapeutic pathway software. Adaptive trial frameworks, after PK and PD models, we have adaptive trial frameworks, enable real-time adjustments to strategies based on term analysis, as for example, cancer studies switch to group stratification mid-trial after recognizing reduced progression-free survival in monotherapy arms. Digital monitoring tools track patient adherence to delivery methods through electronic records and apps, as for example, a once-weekly osteoporosis treatment used a patient adherence app to monitor injection schedules. Therapeutic pathway software stimulates drug pathways in real-world scenarios for strategy evaluation. Example, predictive software modeled sequential drug scheduling outcomes for autoimmune disease uh, management. Summary tables. Next, uh, we have tables to summarize what we have covered through this lecture. A table on key components monitoring, component description, key actions, example outcomes. Components we have patient recruitment, data collection, regulatory compliance, approach analysis, and strategy evaluation. Table on steps to effective monitoring, step objective key actions, example outcomes. Steps we have planning, execution, risk-based monitoring, data analysis, reporting. Table on tools and techniques for monitoring. Tool technique, function, key features, example advantage, tools or techniques. We have pharmacokinetics models, adaptive trials, digital adherence tools, cost effectiveness tools, therapeutic planning software. Table on examples of successful monitoring scenario, challenge, solution, outcomes. Scenarios we have pulmonary delivery asthma, sequential antibiotics resistance, oral versus injectable antidepressants, combination HIV therapies, targeted oncology treatments. Table on examples of applications. Technique application example benefits. Techniques we have PK pharmacokinetic models, adaptive frameworks, digital adherence, economic tools, and therapeutic simulations. Application table scenario for each scenario key principle applied, key actions, timeline, what to watch out for. Scenario we have evaluating oral versus intravenous drug delivery in oncology trials, monitoring sequential combination therapies for drug resistance infections, identifying best delivery method for diabetes, once weekly injections versus daily regimens, examining fixed dose oral combinations for hepatitis C therapy, testing progressive combination therapies for survival benefits in oncology, comparing pharmacokinetics of delayed release formulations with standard modalities, analyzing patient-reported adherence from digital pillbox monitors in skeletal health trials, managing infusion center treatments versus home-based regimens for biologics, evaluating therapeutic sequencing to manage metabolic side effects in HIV regimens, enhancing method consistency across multiple sites for asthma drug pulmonary delivery, implementing therapeutic pathway software for oncology drug sequencing, comparing injection-based versus oral antidepressants for symptom management in severe cases, designing sequential antibiotic strategies to limit resistance in ICU patients, evaluating delayed relapse rates in patients using sequential TB drug regimens, monitoring fixed dose versus flexible dose therapies in schizophrenia or schizophrenia management. Next, we will revise what we have covered through this lecture through some multiple choice questions or MCQs. Question 1. What is the focus of drug approach interaction trials? A. To analyze how drug delivery methods influence efficacy and safety. B. To study alternative cost-saving measures in clinical trials. C. To understand genetic predispositions to drug resistance. Or D. To explore socio-political impacts of new therapies. Definitely the answer is A. To analyze how drug delivery methods influence both efficacy and safety. As drug approach interaction trials evaluate how different methods of administering a drug, for instance, oral, intravenous IV, impact its safety, efficacy, and patient adherence. Question 2. Why is patient recruitment a crucial step in these trials? A. To ensure real-world applicability of drug approaches and strategies. B. To increase the sample size regardless of inclusion-exclusion criteria. C. To focus testing exclusively on how low-risk patient groups. Or D. To speed up the drug approval process by prioritizing homogeneous populations. So, why is patient recruitment a crucial step in these trials? In any trials, actually, not only these trials that we have covered in this lecture, but in any trial, patient recruitment is a crucial step. As the answer is A, to ensure real-world applicability of drug approaches and strategies. As effective recruitment ensures diverse patient populations that reflect real-world use, enabling proper evaluation of delivery methods and strategic applications in various scenarios. Question 3. Which tool is best used to predict the economic efficiency of delivering drug strategies? A. Therapeutic pathway software. B. Pharmacokinetic PK models. C. Adaptive trial frameworks. Or D. Cost effectiveness tools. Definitely the answer is D, as cost effectiveness tools, assess the economic applications or implications of therapeutic approaches and strategies such as comparing oral versus intravenous IV administration costs. Question 4. What role does data analysis play in drug strategy interaction trials? A. It determines the cost-saving benefits of various manufacturing processes. B. It measures the comparative efficacy of strategies like monotherapy versus combination therapies. C. It validates the genetic marker outcomes related to PK models. Or D. It ensures regulatory compliance by optimizing trial endpoints. So the answer is B, as it measures the comparative efficacy of strategies like monotherapy versus combination therapies. As data analysis in drug strategy interaction trials focuses on assessing outcomes such as improved survival rates and reduced relapse, which determine the efficacy of combination or sequential drug use strategies. Question 5. Why is adaptive trial monitoring valuable in drug approach and drug strategy trials? A. It eliminates the need for pre-trial planning. B. It allows real-time adjustments in response to interim trial data. C. It minimizes the dependence on regulatory guideline adherence. Or D. It speeds up recruitment by reducing the inclusion criteria. B. It allows real-time adjustments in response to interim trial analysis or trial data. So this is why the adaptive trial monitoring valuable in drug approach and drug strategy trials. And actually not only in these two trials, but in any trial, the adaptive trial monitoring is valuable. Why? It allows real-time adjustments, modifications in response to interim ongoing trial data. And this is very uh, proactive in order to have the best outcomes without affecting or impacting negatively any trial. As adaptive trial monitoring enables modifications to drug modalities or strategies based on data insights during the trial, ensuring optimal outcomes and resource allocation. And here we come to the end of this lecture. Thank you very much and goodbye.